for our next game. A best of 3 now begins here at MPL NY Season 16, day number 2. Let's see what impressions we'll have by the end of the series.
It's a fresh chapter for both teams. A lot more familiar faces for Todak, of course. Zaed, ZAIMSEMPOI still there, but for Team Ray, this is a big investment, right? It almost feels like they roll that dice a little bit. They come on the end with a better result. Dreams spotting out the early purple buff take. Of course, no steals. A very standard start. Mid lane priority given over to Zakqt.
Yep, and this is perfect. This is a perfect start for Team Ray. They were worried about the initial invade. They were worried about mid lane getting pushed out very, very fast. But Dreams, he's playing like a walking ward, right? He just wants to keep track of where Duskk is going to be. If he can chunk NovaXcobar, that's perfect. And if they can steal a buff with an arrow, that would also be great.
And Zayyy steals 2 more camps, just like that. It's gonna be ahead in experience. Hasn't even taken his own orange buff yet. So by default, Zayd is already off to a slightly better start. And Todak, because of Dreams, gets to mirror the movement of Duskk. And every time NovaXcobar uses his ability, Dreams just jumps on him.
Yep. This is the only time that Dreams is going to be able to harass Nova pretty convincingly because Duskk doesn't have access to level 4 just yet. Once he gets the energy eruption, then he can go for these big resets. Either way, Fawndeer and as well as Dur seems to be a nothing lane going on there. Lolealz and as well as Joam, we haven't seen much action from that lane. No big advantages, really just tracking your opponent and making sure that this mid is clear.
And because Duskk lost 2 camps, he will be behind in experience. And that's even taking the XP crab down in the bottom side of the map too. So already a slower start for Team Ray. This level 4 at the turtle pit is going to favor Todak. I think they're in a prime position. They can clear out that mid wave, whereas for Team Ray, they will pivot towards where the Lapu is.
Yeah, speaking of waves here, ZAIMSEMPOI already at level 4. Dreams and NovaXcobar not even close as they go into the very first fight.
Full commit onto Todak. The Phobius will hold his ground. Fawndeer somehow still stays alive. And unfortunately, you can't say the same for Duskk, who goes down before slamming that ult. And Todak gets first blood.
Beautiful timing coming in from the side of Todak. They hit their ults first and now instantly go for a conversion onto that purple buff here. NovaXcobar as well as Zakqt. Zach, he didn't manage to get into the EXP lane in time to hit his level 4. He is 1 minion off.
And not only that, ZAIMSEMPOI landing an arrow onto Duskk too, so he was controlled for way too long that he was like, if that out went off, I think there will be a turning point for Team Ray. Sadly, not the case. Purple buff gone, and Dreams continues to just be an annoyance to Team Ray.
He has full control, and I think that Todak want to utilize his vision and control to make sure that it's tough because Zayd, he's been free farming the entirety of the game. Walks up, steals away 1 camp, walks away, and he can keep on doing this because we're not seeing enough resistance coming out from Team Ray.
So far, Team Ray has been forced to just play the lanes individually, right? We're not seeing Zakqt connect. NovaXcobar is being forced to mirror Dream's movement, and that's not what Team Ray wants. They want to be able to move with Zakqt, but because of these delayed timings, suddenly Todak have a lot more control that Team Ray would have liked.
Yep, they've already generated a 1.2k lead, but the EXP difference is where we're seeing Todak actually utilize better against Team Ray. I think the hardest part right now is that we are coming to a point where NovaXcobar has hit level 4. So now, the onus is on Team Ray to initiate. They need to be the ones who are looking for a play to make. And more importantly so, with the next turtle coming up in about 22 seconds or so, who is their target priority?
Joam could be that for Todak. The arrow does just graze by. That connected, it's going to be a dive happening. That's why Joam even took the flicker, right? He trusts the team to back him up. And that really falls on Duskk, who is still trying to catch up. Zayd finds Dur, the arrow almost connects, forcing out the bravest spider, so Team Ray fully disengaged.
Yeah, there's no real way to tell how far that arrow was thrown from Dur, trying to keep it safe. Oh, even the Raging Sandstorm being thrown out as well. Looks like it's going to be a no contest for Team Ray, but now that their Raging Sandstorm is gone, they're looking to take the space.
Duskk is going to put his head there. He's still a level behind Zayd though, so it's not easy. Zakqt getting dived on by Dreams. Turtle stolen by Duskk. The SOD connects and Joam says, I'm in the fight, baby. And that's Team Ray picking up a return for themselves.
Yep, just better regrouping. Oh, what? Hold on. Fawndeer gets taken out by Dur on the offside. And while this is all happening, Joam actually went for the lane swap, and now he's going to get a lot of gold plating on the bottom side as Lolealz needs to take advantage of this. He needs to stay even against Joam.
And that's recovery for Team Ray. That initial 1k plus goalie for Todak shrunk to below 500. And that's perfect for Zakqt too. Didn't even have to use the Purify, because Dreams did not have enough damage to take him down. In fact, I think Joam gets the better end of that trade. He gets a full turret in the bottom lane.
Significantly better. I'm surprised that Zakqt literally had the cojones to just stand there and feathered airstrike. He knew that Dreams with a full combo wouldn't be able to do it without his ult. So that's great calculations from Zakqt's side, showing a bit more maturity, but more so, he's willing to throw out these feathered airstrikes to get these initial chunks.
Also very important fact that Duskk won the retry battle somehow. Right? That's going to bring him back up in experience, some go injection for the entirety of the team. And NovaXcobar waiting very patiently with the Divine Judgment too, that really allowed Team Ray to turn that fight around. 2 kills on top of that.
Right now, Todak, their entire lineup is heavily dependent on Zayd actually staying alive and finding those flank angles, but they can't expect Zayd to stay in the middle of the action for that long. They need to be a little more crisp on these flanks. They need to find these picks a little bit faster. If not, Team Ray have a much better chance of just standing still and holding on to these neutral objectives. For now, we see Zayd and as well as Dreams pushing towards this top side, opening up the map a little bit more for Lolealz, and TR looking to respond.
They know that NovaXcobar was heading top pad in top lane too, thanks to the Cena trap. Turret still goes down though, sadly. They didn't want to commit that ultimate. Need to keep it for the next turtle, which will be spawning bottom side. And that's good news for Team Ray. They did take the bottom tier 1.
They're gonna slowly take the space now. At this point, keep our eyes on how they're playing this 4-in-1 split. Joam, he's gonna absorb this next wave, but with Lolealz already on his way down to this bot side, it's gonna be a man advantage for Todak.
The attention is going to be put onto the Braver Spider towards the pit. Here comes the arrow connects. Better airstrike cancel, and Duskk wins the retry battle. And this time Zakqt escapes to the Purify, slam down off the Appraiser's grab, but Fawndeer deep in enemy lines. Zakqt pull back. 2 dead for Team Ray. Duskk next on the chopping block, and this time it's Fawndeer's time to shine. And Todak finds 4.
Ever-changing variables consistently happening. Team Ray understood. We know we're going into this fight with a man down. We know that our backline is going to get attacked. They quickly changed their priority from, hey, we've secured the turtle, now let's live. But look at the damage being caused by Todak. They did lose their top tier 1, but with mid missing, Todak now have access to enemy jungle lines. Let's look at this replay one more time, right? Because look at this. Duskk, the fact that he was able to steal that away was already impressive enough without NovaXcobar, but they do find the initial trade back onto that Phobius. Regardless, this is what Todak wants. They want you to keep moving your anchor further and further away. That way, they can drag him out into the sea.
Especially if I get Lolealz into the fight. The difference maker was Lolealz was able to participate, but Joam decides that he's not going to do that. So the crossbow tangle off the flicker, Dark Wave from Fawndeer as well to cancel that feather airstrike. So the variables for Team Ray, not enough output in that fight.
And there we go, finally. Now with the Thunderbelt already purchased, we see Todak utilizing that. Wait, Nova flickers forward!
An instant follow-up to get rid of Lolealz. Sadly, Dreams cannot help his marksman fast enough, even with the Raging Sandstorm. SOD connects, Joam pulls the trigger. They get the stun onto Zayd. The follow-up is immediate from Team Ray. Another clapback, and a 2K goal swing just like that.
Instant response. Great play coming in from NovaXcobar here. I wasn't expecting him to cover that much distance to begin with, and they take their own mid-tier 1 as they push into enemy territory. Joam is in a phenomenal position right now. If we can get the item list to pop up, that'd be great to know exactly how far he is in his build. But the gold lead that we saw from before instantly is converted back to Team Ray.
They lost the previous fight at the Turtle. Todak was up by 2.1k, and look at what happened. Team Ray now leading by almost 1,000. Todak will be teasing a possible Lord take. As much as 1-1 has that built in Purified, it's not going to work against suppression. NovaXcobar 50 seconds until the next Divine Judgment. They commit a Raging Sandstorm from Dreams. Now he doesn't really have much left. Team Ray, they can play this slow.
They can play this slow, but Joam is currently already on his Trinity build complete. Zakqt finishing up the Wishing Lantern, so his poke is going to be very relevant in these fights. Regardless, we see that Todak actually back off from this Lord. They understand that this is a bit of a risky fight, no matter the odds. At the end of the day, Joam is using his side lane pressure to cause a bit of disruption from Todak's side to hesitate on pulling that trigger. Because again, there's more global presence because of that SOD more than anything else.
And this is the comfort zone for Moscow. I've been able to control the side lanes. And now Team Ray committing to the Lord.
no.
Fawndeer is in the midst of things. The battle line split up a little bit. They pull Fawndeer back, but Fawndeer survives. Lord still goes to Team Ray, and Joem goes to work. The front line has done enough, and Joem now gets to reap the rewards. Pierce through all of Todak, one by one. 3 down for the Swordfishers, but Joem's not done just yet. ZAIMSEMPOI on the run, but Joem pins him down. Mega kill for the Moskov.
Man, Joem! He's fast. He's faster than the farm. He's fast with his fingers as well. He's absolutely destroyed Todak in this match because of how much gold he was able to attain for himself. All these little plays and sacrifices from Team Ray's side has allowed Joem to become an absolute monster. 10 minutes into this game. 9 minutes completed Trinity build. 10 minutes, 30 seconds for a Wind of Nature.
I gotta say, Duskk, he lost one retry battle and never again. This Lord, let's see how much it can do. Dreams, great Raging Sandstorm, but the follow-up not really there. Sacrifices life for the cause of NovaXcobar. Todak needs a bit more. The arrow comes in, but the damage a bit too much from Team Ray. And then a double, and Joem takes it. A bit too ambitious this time. Lolealz finds the shutdown, but Team Ray still have numbers.
He didn't have enough time to press the button, and it also didn't help that he also took a tower shot regardless. Missing a bottom inhibitor, all the goal for TR, 2.4k in the bank, and it's gonna keep on compounding. I'm surprised was able to find Lolealz in the previous fight anyways, but it's all because of that flicker. That flicker is such an important tool, and I'm curious to see Lolealz in his item build, how far is he actually into it? Because I saw him get a Wind of Nature, but look at the way that this fight progressed, right? They initially wanted to make sure that Dreams and as well as Zaed get taken out first. And as soon as that happens, unless we see some tighter execution from Todak's side, the collapse needs to happen at the same time. Raging Sandstorm, I'm expecting everybody else to follow up. If we don't see that follow-up, then Zaed is kind of just left there to be like, please, help, anybody.
The saving grace for Todak was Raging Sandstorm, right? Dreams was the shock absorber. If not for that 4-man crowd control, I think Team Ray would have ran away with the game already.
In terms of item builds, if we're talking about running away, it's actually not as far as I thought it was between the two gold laners, right? 9.7 and 9.9 currently, despite Joem being 6-1 and 5 and Lolealz 2-2 and 3. The scoreline tells a completely different story. As we look at the main gold leaders, here it's going to be the EXP lane in and as well as Duskk, who has done phenomenally on these 50-50 fights at a disadvantage during Lords.
Winter Crown done too. It's all for that 1-1. It's him and Joem that have the ability to absorb that crossbow tank if it ever comes to it. But most of these fights are decided by whether the Feather Airstrike gets to channel the full salvo, right? Zakqt himself alone can chunk out Lolealz, ZAIMSEMPOI, and prevent any sort of a follow-up from Todak. Prolific gun done for Lolealz. I think Joem is also going for the same build.
Yep, they're going for the exact same build here. Lolealz opting to sell his boots at this point just to get it a slightly earlier. We'll see if it's going to make a difference in this fight because they're bursting it out way too quick. And Zaed, he must contest!
And this time it's Joem that really puts in the work. Full disengage for Team Ray. Lolealz on the chase. NovaXcobar is the target though. Can he escape? NovaXcobar will give his life away. Crossbow tank goes up. It's diverted. Lolealz couldn't convert it fully. Maybe Team Ray can look for a turnaround because NovaXcobar is going to be dead for sure. Seems like they'll make the call to back off.
Were they gonna go for the chase or not? I think Joem was even thinking about it. I'm ready to throw the SOD. I just need the green light, but nobody is there to actually start peeling for him. If he got in, it would just all be up to Joem and his flicker. Dreams out of position and even getting their flicker out of him. Big resources from the side of Todak.
Yeah, Lord from bottom. Mid-wave cleared out. So Todak gets staggered the push and perhaps keep both the remaining inhibitors up still. Prolific gun though done for Joem. That could be a difference maker. But the airstrike onto Fawndeer, half his health bar is gone. Top wave will be cleared out by Todak, so no structures go down.
Yeah, but so far, we can see that Team Ray, they're not going to push the envelope just yet. They've already used their big feathered airstrike, their biggest sieging tool, and at this point, they know that Dreams probably has that Raging Sandstorm. They're going to back up. Zakqt is missing his Purify from now. Another 30 seconds until they get back up, and 110 seconds until the next Luminous Lord is shown. NovaXcobar achieving 1.2k total assists.
Team Ray is definitely a different being already, even in the first game.
Oh, jeez.
And look at Zayy's damage taken ranking.
Oh, dude, you know he's going for that grab food for one. He's like, all me, baby. I love eating damage. Damage, so good.
And the extra deal on that too.
Yeah.
Some great offers.
Oh man, he's taking way too much damage here. I suppose that I'm surprised that he's been able to last this long. But then again, he does go for his two most important core items. And for the most part of it, when he jumps into the middle of these fights, it's really the burst coming in from ZAIMSEMPOI on top of Lolealz that's really getting him cut in half. Now, looking at the items once more, see that, ooh, a lightning truncheon purchase coming in for Zakqt. Even more damage in the build, more burst, more AoE, but we already see that the tanks have already achieved their own Athena shield. As the movement across the map, looking kind of interesting. They're really babysitting Joam here.
Yeah. Sea Halberd for Lolealz. Was it immortality, right, for Fawndeer? He's tired of getting dragged back and finished off. He really needs to stay in the fight to keep on kind of providing resistance, right? Stop Zakqt, somehow stagger Duskk, or best case scenario, find Joam.
Speaking of best case scenario here, despite the fact that he's 2.2k down, I think immortality just has to be the most cost-efficient buy at this point. It's really difficult, especially when NovaXcobar's Divine Judgment is such a powerful tool, right? You jump too far, Nova's gonna punish you. You're trying to initiate too soon. If he's got that all, he'll pull you right out of it. And I think right now it's a matter of who is going to launch the first nuclear warhead, right? Who's gonna punch in that code? And I think at this point, it's very clear that TR are more than happy to throw out their abilities now that we're here at level 15, 16 minutes into the game, where the ults are on very relatively short cooldown timers.
And the long lane will be pushing in favor of Team Ray too. There's a wave building up at top. Joam, he's not showing on the map. And that's going to pose some question to Todak, right? Where is this Moskov going to be at? Or does he see him now?
I don't know if they want to necessarily show him just yet. They showed him for just a moment, but also notice that top and as well as bottom waves naturally are pushing in favor of Team Ray. And Todak need to respond to this. As soon as Dreams comes out on that lane, we're expecting that TR is going to get more aggressive. And here we go, the burst begins.
Most important retreat battle. Duskk has won all of them.
Oh!
NovaXcobar with a flicker in. They fight the pressure. They need to finish the Lord. They need to pick a lane. And suddenly, they've already lost NovaXcobar. Duskk still good for the retreat.
Wow.
And gets it done. Dreams late to the party. Durst sacrificed. SOD goes wide. But Team Ray gets what they came for.
They nearly botched that. Team Ray nearly botched that. They had a good timing on the initial jump. NovaXcobar going right into the face of Zayd to try to go for the lockdown. Gets hit by the shield unity, gets stunned. ZAIMSEMPOI follows up on the CC chain, and Nova nearly couldn't pull Zayd out of position. Team Ray, they recovered, they adapted extremely well. They said, hey, okay, he's not out of position, we don't have Divine Judgment, Joam can push him away, but let's just not hit the Lord for a solid 4 seconds. Keep it above the retreat threshold.
Sadly, this Lord also ends up doing nothing for Team Ray. And Todak gets to hit the item spikes that they want. Right? Zayd is now 15, Fawndeer 1 level away from max, ZAIMSEMPOI with the Blood Wings. Whatever lead that Team Ray had, or the minor ones that they had, are completely back to square one. We are on an even playing field, aside from the fact that Team Ray have a bottom lane advantage.
In terms of damage dealt, looks like they're doing the most. 55,000, a full 13,000 ahead of Lolealz, alongside of ZAIMSEMPOI, as we're coming into the situational items at this point. Cores have already been built, and now we see that even, it looks like eventual dominance ice purchase coming in from Duskk. Doesn't make much sense here. I think that what is the priority damage? You've already got the Winter Crown, already got the Antique. Yeah, there's no real reason to complete any of the items. The components are a little bit more valuable at this point. I guess you could go for the Athena shield, but then again, I feel like ZAIMSEMPOI doesn't one-shot you anyways.
Yeah, no. Probably Domice, Guardian's Helmet.
Ah, there we go. Much better option. Just work with the base health here. I think, for the most part, it's just consistent damage. The only burst that they do really have is from ZAIMSEMPOI. And even then, you've already got the right items. You've got the cloak, the extra MR. We're not seeing, like, the raw penetration from ZAIMSEMPOI just yet until he gets the Divine Glaive. But for the most part, now that we're moving into the 20-minute mark with no clear advantages from either side, other than the missing inhibitor down on Todak's bot lane, then I think that Team Ray, they're just waiting. They're just waiting.
Yeah, waiting for Nova to pull the trigger. He was instrumental in turning some of these important fights around. Like, there were moments when NovaXcobar is willing to throw his life to get Team Ray the lead. And he managed to catch Lolealz once even.
At this point, Todak need to find a flank angle, right? Because it's so beneficial for Team Ray to play in a very linear area, right? When I mean linear, I mean very straight angles. I'm not talking about the open lane of the mid lane. I'm talking about like really tight corridors. And I think as much as ZAIMSEMPOI does like those tight corridors, Lolealz does not. He needs the initial space to get behind, especially if we're talking about that 1v1 against Drone, which is hard to win, admittedly, but as long as he has the trigger for the crossbow of tank, he hits all those weakness points, there is a chance for Todak to win the 5v5.
Todak did get a free turret down bot, but as the enhanced wave spawns, it will slowly push back in Team Ray's favor. Zayyy is trying to keep this Lord aggro, and that's gonna make Team Ray feel a bit more jitterish. Lord down to half health though. Team Ray, they might have started the Lord a bit too early.
Oh yeah, Zaed, he's gonna get chunked out here. Yes, he does have the immortality, but he needs to top his health back up.
Yeah.
Team Ray holding on to that position. Ideally, Zayd's gonna try and get a little bit of health back coming in from that purple buff, but we don't see Todak taking as much ground as necessary. They've already warded, with the help of the Selena traps, the Abyssal traps, just to make sure that they have some key points on the map. Yep. Team Ray, aware of that, moving towards the top side. Now, Nova's in a very interesting position, right? He's waiting in lane, seeing if somebody makes that initial mistake, and Durs has somebody to fall back to, but he's not interacting the wave. He doesn't want to give away that Nova is covering him.
Wave is actually slightly in favor of Team Ray too, but he's not going to push out fast enough. Team Ray actually commits to the Lord. They have Dur trying to play distraction. NovaXcobar with the conceal. Zayyy gets jumped on. Maybe they don't even need Nova this time. And he flickers forward. Finds Lolealz of all people. Wisdom of Nature protects Lolealz. What a stun from Dur. Crossbow tank goes up into the air. Lolealz goes. But Joem, he's just going to go on to him. Lolealz comes back with immortality. But it's a lifestyle, baby. Team Ray, they don't even need the Lord. They have just won the fight.
Oh, Lolealz really needed ZAIMSEMPOI to land that arrow. Oh, Joem, a little too good here. A little well played. Can't do much about that because they were put in an awkward spot, right? Bot lane was already exposed. They needed Dreams to be in position to deal with this Zakqt Farsa, and now they blow up another man. Dreams, unfortunately, can't get back on his feet.
Able to somehow escape with the immortality and Raging Sandstorm, but that's Todak's base in shambles. 25 seconds for Lolealz, 15 for Zaed and Fawndeer. I don't think this defense is going to work out. Team Ray, they're just going to commit onto the crystal, and game number 1